If they start using Chat GPT to help them with their appraisal reports, well, then bye-bye appraisal profession.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to another mini-sode that is sponsored by Synapse. You can learn more by going to their webpage at spark4appraisers.com. All right, folks, here we are again talking about artificial intelligence, talking about machine learning. Specifically, we're going to talk again today about Chat GPT. Why is Dustin spending so much time on Chat GPT lately? Well, I'm going to address that in the next mini-sode next week, so stay tuned for that. Today, I want to address some of the at least one criticism that I have heard from other appraisers. And by the way, it's so interesting to me how this all plays out, right? Dustin's been talking a lot about Chat GPT. Dustin spent a lot of time on Chat GPT. Dustin spent a lot of time learning about Chat GPT and AI and BART and machine learning and all of that, right? And I've written about it, I've talked about it, and I've got a lot of criticism from individuals out there saying things like, we should avoid this, it's scary, it's dangerous. Folks, I have been the first to admit, and if you've read my writings, if you've seen the videos that I put out there, if you have followed my podcast, you know that I am the first to admit that AI is a dangerous thing. That there are a lot of things that we do not understand about the power of this technology that is quickly developing. I've mentioned on this program before, and a very smart dude, who I would call a genius, Elon Musk has said, and by the way, he's the guy that had the company that founded what became Chat GPT, OpenAI. So the guy gets it, right? He understands, and he said that I am more fearful of AI than I am nukes. Folks, that's a pretty powerful statement from a guy that understands this. And so I'm going to be the first to admit that we need to be careful. We need to be cautious. We need to understand what it is that we are using. But one of the criticisms that has been thrown at me is this. It's kind of the boycott principle. Right? This idea that if we refuse to use this new technology, that it will kind of go away. Now, they're not specifically saying that, but what they're saying is if appraisers embrace AI, if they start using Chat GPT to help them with their appraisal reports, well, then bye-bye appraisal profession. Now, again, I'm paraphrasing what I've been told that both publicly and privately. You can see the comments out on Facebook. You can see them on the articles that I've written on AI, and people, appraisers, will jump on and say, we need to avoid this. We need to not use this. It's a dangerous thing to do. And if we just refuse to do it, that it will go away. Or another way of saying that is, if we as appraisers utilize AI, utilize Chat GPT to help us with our appraisal reports, well, you can just kiss the appraisal profession goodbye. We are just perpetuating a train that is headed off a cliff, and we're just helping it to get there just a little bit faster. Okay, I want to tell you a couple stories, and I want to address this today because I think it's super important to understand where it is that where we're going with this. Okay, and that we understand what it is that we're dealing with here. Okay. The story that I first want to tell you is a true story. It happened. It was either in 1999 or 2000. It was right around the time that I first got my actual appraisal certification. I'd been a trainee for about 3 years. I started in 1996, and I think it was about 1999 when I received my license. And I was appraising an area of northern Utah at the time. And I received it was either a desktop review or a field review. And at first I was blown away at what I was looking at, because it was sent over to me, I think via fax. Okay, that was what we were using back then. Sent via fax. Might have been email. I mean, email was up and running by then, but nonetheless, that the delivery part doesn't matter. What matters is when I popped up and when I looked at it, I was blown away at what I was looking at, because I was looking at a 1004, but I was looking it was very obvious that this 1004 had been done with a typewriter. Folks, we're talking 1999 or 2000. And an appraiser out there was still using a typewriter. He was physically putting a piece of paper. I remember that one of the first things I saw was whiteout, that he had taken and let's say it's the parcel number, he had typed it wrong and he whited it out and then had typed over top the whiteout. That's the first thing that, I mean, other than it looked funny, it was the first thing that tipped me off to the fact that this was done on a typewriter. I was blown away. Now, my dad had a TI-85 in the 80s, right? I do not remember a time when my dad, as an appraiser, was doing appraisals on a typewriter. This is the first time I had ever seen that. Well, things were a little bit different back in the late 90s than they are now, or should be in my case, or in my opinion. And I picked up the phone. There was something about the report that I had a question about. Now, whether we're supposed to do that or not, whatever. Back then, if I had an issue, if I had a question, I picked up the phone. I called the other appraiser. And this was one of those situations. And it wasn't because it was typewritten. It was because of something else. I picked up the phone and I called the appraiser and asked the question. Hey, I'm doing a review on your report. I've got a question on this. It's not real clear what's going on here. And I mentioned to him, I said, as a side note, it's very interesting to me. This is the first time I've ever seen a typed appraisal report. And he laughed and he said he was like 78 years old. And he said he had fear of technology. He had fear of computers. One of the things that he mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words he used, but he said that if appraisers will continue to move in the direction of utilizing computers, it will just be a matter of time when appraisers will be replaced. Sound familiar? Now, the reason I tell you that story is here we are 20 plus years later with the same damn argument. Another argument that can be made is appraisers. You are all doing your adjustments, right? You put your comparables in. You got to find out, what is the GLA adjustment for this particular property, right? This particular home that we're appraising. What should the GLA adjustment be? Long gone are the days when you could just put $25 a square foot in every single report and move on, right? And so my question is, folks, how are you figuring up your adjustments? A sponsor on this program, folks, is Synapse. And here's the thing. Synapse is a technology that helps you to be a better appraiser. There are some, I'm guessing, out there who are leery of Synapse, probably because, again, of ignorance, but maybe because of another reason, right? But they don't fully understand how it works and why it works. How is that any different than what we are talking about today? Folks, I would say that you need to learn how to utilize technology to help you, to not replace you, but to help you to do a better job. Synapse is one of those companies. It is amazing, folks, the information that you can get. By the way, you can do everything that Synapse does on a spreadsheet. It will take you longer. You are prone to mistakes. The list goes on and on as to why I would encourage you not to do that, but you could. Every single thing, you could do it on a piece of paper. You could do it on a napkin if you want. All the things that Synapse does simply allows you to do them faster, and then you, as the appraiser, choose what you actually put in the report, and that is key here. When we're looking at Synapse, it's key to understand it does not do the work for you. It allows you to do the work faster, and then you, as the appraiser, still choose how to put it in the report. By the way, check them out. Go to Synapse on their webpage. It's spark4appraisers.com. Again, spark4appraisers.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out once again in the home podcast chair. As you can see on YouTube, I am at home today for a quick mini-sode. And we're talking again about Chat GPT. Again, next week, I'm going to address why, the big question as to why do you keep talking about Chat GPT, Dustin? What is the big deal? Stay tuned for that. But today, I'm addressing one of the criticisms and one of the encouragements that I've seen online. The criticism is that we as appraisers should not trust this new technology, that we appraisers need to be very careful of this new technology, and that if we use this new technology, that we're simply encouraging the demise of the appraisal profession. Folks, let me ask you a question. Going back to the previous story about the individual that did the 1004 on a piece of paper in a typewriter. Now, other than the fact that he's 78, and at this point, he's probably not alive, he would be around 100 years old. Maybe he still is, I don't know. But my question, that aside, let's say he was 40, right? And let's say he's now around 60. Do you really think that guy would still be in business today if he were still trying to do appraisals on a typewriter? And the bigger question is why? Folks, I don't think technology is something that we can trust explicitly. I think that those who criticize and those who caution and those who say we need to be careful are absolutely 100% correct. That being said, I have the exact opposite opinion of those that say that artificial intelligence will take over appraiser jobs. I believe that artificial intelligence will only take over appraisers' jobs if appraisers don't embrace it. Stay with me. If, my friends, you do not make yourself relevant with this new technology will run over you and replace you. I believe that with all of my heart. So what are you saying, Dustin? I'm saying that every appraiser within the sound of my voice needs to learn technology, not just Chat GPT, not just BART, not just AI, not just machine learning, though that's what we're talking about today. But you need to understand what it is, and more importantly, and then I'm going to get to the most important. There's three things: learn what it is, more importantly, how to use it, and number three, and most importantly, the dangers and the caution and the understanding of the risks, and making sure that you don't forget that everything you put in your appraisal report is 100% on you and on your shoulders. Trust, but verify is what Reagan used to say, right? Thank you for joining me today, folks. I really do appreciate it. Wanted to again shout out and let you know that we will be doing a what's called Mastermind in Paradise. It's going to be on January 8th, 9th, and 10th of 2024. There's still time to sign up for the Mastermind and be a part of the greatest meeting of appraisers ever to happen in Hawaii, in Kauai, in January. Please join us. Thank you, my friends, for joining me today. Thank you for your indulgence as I continue to talk about this crazy new technology, and go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.